Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes, sir. So, all right, what's your argument for Bitcoin?
Well, basically, if you read the white paper, that will lay out most of the argument for you. Essentially, it's 100% decentralized. A lot of the key points I'm sure you're aware of. And it's a proof of work system, which you seem to think is bad, but I would argue is good, because people that work for their money should be rewarded for that, as opposed to people that already have money that can stake, like as a general thesis. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're trying to fight the elite, so staking is an elitist's approach to crypto.
Right. But so, okay, so like, my thing about like, it's not necessarily that I have anything inherently wrong with proof of work. And I do believe what you're saying, like, if you're going to be inclined to be working on behalf of the network, then you should be rewarded for the work that you're putting in. My only thing about Bitcoin, and like I said, like, I understand the price predictions for Bitcoin, so I've never been one to say, like, oh, like, just because it's a dip, like, oh, don't buy, like, you know, I'm not like a, like, that's not how I, like, view it. It's just more like, because I truly do think, like, if you ask me, I think, yeah, Bitcoin's going to hit 100K by the end of this year. Like, end of year prediction, at least 100K. And then, you know, they talk about the long term. I truly don't, the one I don't believe is the 1 million. But, like, so with proof of work, though, like, the thing, like, one of the things is that, like, I've seen, like, the research and math done for it, and Bitcoin specifically has a compound, like, scaling issue where the higher the cost of the Bitcoin, then the more effort on the mining, like, the more energy it will consume. So, like, if...
But like, the whole point of consuming the energy is to make the network stronger against attacks from people that say that the rules are not good. That's the point.
Right. But
it also drives people towards free energy as opposed to and free and limitless energy as opposed to finite resources.
Right. But so, like, I mean, okay, so, well, personally, I just view the scalability as an issue, just because...
Well, that's not an issue at all. That's not an issue at all, because you can always throw a second layer on top. That's what a shitcoin is. It's just a layer 2 on top of Bitcoin. It's a copy of Bitcoin. It's an adaptation from Bitcoin, you know, trying to beat it. Well, an L2 is an adaptation to Bitcoin, but it's not trying to beat it. It's trying to work with it and should be vetted and all that. And applications like Strike are doing that, where they don't really custody your Bitcoin. You buy it and then they transfer it to your hardware wallet.
Well, I've looked into Strike, and Strike, like, so from what I've looked into Strike isn't actually, well, there have been a lot of complaints about the actual software of Strike, and, like, I've seen that, like, people have complained about it not operating correctly or losing funds with Strike and things like that. But Strike is a good concept, and I definitely think a good direction for Bitcoin. So when I first heard of Strike and I started looking into Strike, I was like, oh, like, this would null and void all of my skepticism around Bitcoin. But then also, so, like, what's his name in the news? But he's actually a CEO for... who is it? Ripple CEO. So, like, I mean, and this is just something that I truly do think is, like, important to consider, that I don't think that a lot of Bitcoin maxis do consider, that while Bitcoin is a good, like, solid attempt at decentralized finance and, like, a decentralized network and overthrowing the elites and things like that, but the elites are the elites. And there are elites in Bitcoin. And so elites that are in Bitcoin, sure, like, they'll go along with that notion, but at the end of the day, like, the traditional, like, power and where power is, like, basically the CEO of Ripple was like, and I truly do believe it's a true statement, is that governments and central banks would bring out tanks before they just gave up control over the money. And so the only thing, like, I was asking if you've looked into other projects, simply because there is so much, like data and information.
Well, hold on. I'm not gonna. Let's not get on to other projects quite yet, because we still have a couple of things that you hit on that I'd like to refute pretty easily. First is the tanks. Basically, there's no one for the government to come after as a country with their tanks. And the changing the money and the motivation will change the underlying understanding of how money works for most people, and those people will do things as crazy and trivial as refuse orders if we're to come down to that.
Tanks is definitely hyperbolic, but I think the symbolism is just that, like, well, I don't know. I mean, well, obviously.
Oh, hold on.
We're talking digital.
Hold on. The tanks thing, that was one, and then the other was the elites owning the Bitcoin. Let's touch on that real quick. Yes, that's great. They bought it for a low price because people were, late to the party. Essentially, the one thing that, you can say, well, the elites have all the power because it's whales or blah, blah, blah. Well, that's great. As long as you force them to pay you in your Bitcoin, they can't create any more Bitcoin. They can run some other system, some other business, some other thing that's productive, maybe some other scam. But once you understand that you should be valuing everything in Bitcoin and not in dollars and not in some other coin and some other scam, because ultimately everything is trying to get your Bitcoin, because it is the earliest decentralized currency that has the largest network by far. It shits over network dominance on everything else combined. So,
and even to this day, it still does control market dominance. But okay, so back to the tanks thing, they're first off, like you said, it's on a large scale, it's individuals that would own this. So yeah, how could they take tanks to a nation or whatever? But basically, like, my whole thing is that, like, that's kind of hyperbolic and metaphorical, but just saying that, like, they would, if it was going to be a wide adoption that way, I truly do think that they would just go to who has Bitcoin.
They are. They go to them. They're gonna go and strong arm them, and they're gonna make them do shit like sell and manipulate the markets, or they'll confiscate it for a time being. And the nice thing about Bitcoin, and I hope we don't get too far off of Bitcoin's being not super private, because then you can go back and see if there was an issue. You can go back and figure out who did the wrongdoing and call them out on that shit. No longer can you go back in history and burn the history books and make your history fact.
I was going to say that my next point was going to be the privacy, like, because I've talked to so many, like, people that are, like, Bitcoin maxis, and they're like, oh, Bitcoin is so private, so private. And I'm like, really? Have you not been paying attention to the cyber attacks where they literally found
those cyber attacks, dude? Are you kidding me? $80 million and it's the same. They're attacking just American shit. Come on, and they don't know what the hell they're doing, and they lose Bitcoin to the FBI.
No,
Get out of here.
I'm talking about just the fact that they got the ransom, but they were able to track. I mean, the privacy has been disproven because they're saying they literally were able to get.
But anyone that is a real Bitcoin maxi like myself would know that it's not a privacy coin. But you want a privacy coin, get Monero, right?
Right.
Use Monero as your rusty machete. If someone wants to fucking sidestep you and pull some bullshit, you got to chop their fucking hand off, and maybe some reason they can strong arm your Bitcoin. There's arguments for a couple of other coins. Maybe, but like just a last ditch resort, last effort. But Bitcoin's going to be the train carrying them all.
Okay, and there's something else that you had said that I just general concept, and this is just almost historical in every industry with everything that is first. I mean, I'll just refer you to AOL.
No. Stop. This is FUD, man. You're just a FUD machine. You're reading in. You're on the last wave. You're a wave behind me.
Hold on, dude. Like, it's just a simple fact. Anything that is first always goes by the wayside. There's always new technology.
And will you not see it coming? Will you not see it coming?
What do you mean? Will I not see?
If you were paying attention to network dominance, would you not see something coming to beat Bitcoin from a mile away? Would it not be like easy?
Not necessarily the case, because so now let's talk about the other projects, because it's an important stance with my side and the way I view the digital asset space, because, like, again, we're talking about, at the end of the day, we are talking about elites would have to basically succumb to Bitcoin, and they would not be able to control Bitcoin. They would not. Bitcoin is controlled by the users and the people and the miners that mine the network.
And there's no inflation.
Right, and it's deflationary. But that's my whole thing. Well, there are other deflationary digital assets.
So,
but
they're tiny, and you can 51% attack them with 10% of Bitcoin's network, and people will to prove a point.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Cardano. Oh no, actually, you can 51% attack Cardano, but I'm pretty sure Stellar is 51% proof. But are you paying attention to the world news that's going on? Because there are
South Africa and El Salvador.
No, I'm well aware of El Salvador, but that's why I asked you, are you aware that El Salvador went to the central bank to help its transition, and the central bank said no, and I can tell you why the central bank said no. Because when we're talking about central banks and the BIS, the Bank for International Settlements, which is the bank of
what do you need them for?
It's not what do you need them for.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of they're not going to give up the power that they have.
They don't have a choice, though.
The BIS, but here's the thing, and this is almost it's half conspiracy theory, but it's also not half conspiracy theory. The Bank of International Settlements, just asset-wise, controls multiple trillions of dollars. The owners of the Bank of International Settlements is the Rothschild family. Mm-hmm. The Rothschild family is the wealthiest family on the entire planet.
Yeah, no, that's not conspiracy. I'm down with that information.
Right. And so what I'm saying is that at some point, it regardless of the concepts that we're discussing right now about Bitcoin and the advantageous aspects about Bitcoin, if money is what controls the world, and it's sad to say it, but money does control the world. Money controls people. Money controls everything.
Yes, that's the point here.
Right, but this is what I'm going to tell you right now is that
but all the money's corrupted.
Bank of International Settlements
corrupted.
And the Rothschild family
corrupted.
I'm talking I'm talking the wealthiest people
corrupted.
On the planet.
Corrupted. They're all corrupted.
Have all endorsed specific assets already.
Yeah, they're corrupted as fuck.
XRP being one of them.
XRP's corrupted.
And here's the thing, though. I'm not even refuting that with you. I truly do believe it is. But I truly do believe that it's going to be the winner.
XRP?
What I'm saying is okay, we've got Bill and Melinda Gates, Rockefellers. We've got
what if their money's not good to the people? Because we all know that they have targets on their backs, bro, because we've figured it out, because education, because every idiot around the world now has a smartphone and has access to the information, and in 20 hours they can be enlightened to all the tyranny and evils that that come to us through these people, through inflation and control of the money.
But that's like saying, okay, but if you were going to give that much power to the people,
what?
Hold on, no, just listen to what I'm going to say. How many sheeps got vaccinated? How many sheeps wore masks? How many sheeps did exactly what they were told to do? The majority.
Because they're living in fear. Because they're being scared around. You have to teach people not to be afraid all the time.
Right, they are. But what I was saying is that you're saying that, people have smartphones and they're going to do all these things. Look, I'm right there with you. I'm not vaccinated. Didn't buy COVID for 1 second. None of that shit. But I can look around and be like, look how brainwashed these people are. They have the same smartphones that you and I have.
Right, so shit on them. So shit on them and take advantage of them is what you're saying with what. Forget about fixing all the problems. We'll just go ahead and continue to work with it. We'll work with the shitcoins. We'll expect the evil people to win, and I will climb on top of them and take advantage. And that's not the right approach.
But it's not, okay, I see what you're saying, and that is basically my narrative. I see what's going on over here. I'm talking about, the 6 assets that I keep referring to, like I told you, there doesn't get bigger money than even just the 4 things that I just mentioned right there.
What happens when the mob kills those individuals and takes their money?
Okay, but this is what I'm saying. What you're saying is these individuals have gone untouched for how long? It's because
they have changed the rules.
You don't think the mob would be controlled by these people? They have the longest of long money to manipulate any market, manipulate any individual, manipulate any outcome that they see fit. So it is kind of what you're saying. Yes, I see what you're saying. You're 100%. Yeah, this is corrupt there. This is market manipulation. This is what the the elite of elite. Like, I'm not even talking about the 1%. I mean, the names that I just listed are like the 0.25% on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And that money is going into digital assets like XRP, XLM, Algorand, Cardano.
Yeah.
And they literally, the World Economic Forum already has a framework. I mean,
yes, they are taking the centralized ones and they're going to control them. That's the point. They've always done that. They cannot take full control of Bitcoin. That's the point. That's how you beat them. That's the only way to beat them. Don't give up.
But it's a matter of...
It's a matter of you're looking too short. Do you care about your kids? Do you care about your grandkids? Do you care about your great-grandkids? Are you going to have any of them? Or you just want to fucking get high with all your money and drive a Lamborghini around?
Okay, but then the argument that you're making is, and what we've already kind of... You even agreed with it, is that I would be hard-pressed to say that more than 15... No, that's way too much. More than 6% of the entire global population is even woke enough to be having the discussion that you and I are having. They would not even, like, that's my thing.
We need to take these discussions, right? And we need to figure out who's right. Probably me, hopefully me. And, for the good of the world there, hopefully me, instead of evil winning. And we need to spread the message and spread the education and not take advantage of people the whole time. Because just being in this space, you don't need to trade. You just buy the one that's going to win, and you wait.
100%. But it's I'm like, okay, so because the way my brain works, it's a matter of me weighing what I assess probabilities and likelihoods. Yep. So while I hear your argument and I agree with...
I know where you're going. You're a pessimistic motherfucker. I hear it.
To be the likelihood...
No, the likelihood is we're here. We didn't kill ourselves yet, so let's plan positively. We're still here. We exist. So we made it this far. Let's not plan for our failure. Let's plan for our ultimate success.
It's a...
When did you get into crypto? Because I guarantee you I've got a cycle on you.
We're not even... Yeah, no, I literally just got in what was last year? Early 2020.
No, bro. No, bro. I've been around since 2011.
Right, but that's all well and fine. Well, hold on. But that right there is a part of my point about the Bitcoin maxi, and that's exactly why I made the large point on AOL, because AOL literally was blindsided, and I'm talking about it's a great comparison for us to have because.
Okay, we'll have that discussion when it's relevant. But right now, that's not relevant, and you can argue to the cows come home that the other coins exist, but that doesn't matter. They're nowhere near flipping Bitcoin. And if they do, it needs to happen on the long term before the people that have been in this for 15 years give up on it. It's going to have to be, okay, there's real reasons here, and everyone's going to have to be educated, and then everyone will switch over, and then Bitcoin will die because that's what the community decided as a whole, right? Not because some centralized banker decided that the policies no longer work, but we don't really give a shit about the fringes of society in third worlds dying because of inflation that robs them of any possibility of digging themselves out of that hole. This isn't about us. We are the elites. We are the privileged, and we need to stop looking up so much and start looking down a little more.
Yeah. When I weigh, and you're going to be mad about it because I'm going to just say the same thing, but when I weigh...
We can wait. The nice thing is you will be proven wrong.
Hold on. This is a great point. This is a great point, though. Hold on, wait. Pause. Let's pause really quickly. This is a great point. You know what's interesting about the fact that we talk about everybody has a smartphone and all of these things? Here's another thing that, is going to severely impact the minority, which would be us, the minority group this would be what would restrict a large-scale educational,
Social media does it with shadow banning already.
That's what I was just about to say.
You're just now waking up, but I'm really far ahead of you here.
But okay, so if you understand all of those concepts, the roadblocks that are put in place, the fact that, like, I mean, people's communication...
You can't stop Bitcoin. It doesn't matter what argument they come up with, because you can do it on paper if you want to. As long as the community's there and the community values it and they will work for it, your arguments are null and void, homie. I'm sorry. Your gambling approach to making money doesn't apply.
Okay, so you're well aware of the whole kind of thing. So I'm just going to ask this, because you're saying that you can't stop Bitcoin. I'm going to tell you why you can stop Bitcoin. If anybody wanted to stop Bitcoin, you could do exactly what China did. Now, hold on. Like, this is a great point. I'm happy that you said you can't stop Bitcoin.
Say it. I'm listening.
All it would take is legislation to make mining illegal. Without mining, the network cannot function. China did it, and while Bitcoin maxis, this is funny because...
Do you own guns?
Maybe about 2 months ago, I think even Anthony Pompliano was like, oh, China has threatened to ban Bitcoin 4 times prior. And
do you own guns?
Things, and yeah, and
are you going to let someone tell you how to live your life? Or are you going to die on this hill?